A member of the so-called ProLife Party says he's voting against a bill which would provide free school lunches to kids in his state because he's never met a hungry person. Intrigued? Then click that like and subscribe and enjoy the video. So here at Pondering Politics, we are unapologetically hard on the Republican Party. We're very critical, and with good reason. Philosophically and on matters of policy and on matters of record, the modern GOP sucks. And for years, enlightened centrists and moderates and even well-intentioned left-leaning people, I think, have tried to play kindly with the GOP. I think that we have bent over backwards to pretend that they are not what they are. You have leadership in the Democratic Party, people like former Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who just last year or the year before, when she was Speaker of the House, was saying things like, we need a strong, dedicated Republican Party. President Biden regularly extols the virtues of the Republican Party. He gives them credit that they simply don't deserve. He goes out of his way to hype them up and to try to characterize the deranged MAGA element of the modern GOP as being this very vocal fraction of the GOP. And listen, as I've said before, I have conservative family members and friends who I love dearly, right? But the thought leadership of the Republican Party, the Congress people, the governors, the senators, the Republican presidents, the people who are responsible for animating and shaping the direction of the policy and putting forward, the party and putting forward policy, these people are nuts and they're bad faith and they're incompetent. They're really, really good at, again, culture war issues and, firebrand messaging and things like that. But when it comes to being a governing party or a loyal opposition party, they suck. And so you take things like, they call themselves the Pro-Life Party. It's great branding. It's really good. How can you be anti-life? But if you look at the policies of the Republican Party, they are anti-life. Like, Republican policies are all about making life harder for the vast majority of Americans, right? Make it easier for the ultra-rich, right, in the form of tax breaks and things like that. But if you're, an average American or middle-class American, if you're living in a red state, if you're living under Republican rule, your life is invariably made more difficult by Republican policies, despite what they tell you. And so the pro-life moniker doesn't really apply to the GOP, even outside of issues about abortion. And so that brings us to this particular situation out of Minnesota. We have a Republican state senator, Steve Drazkowski, who is voting against a bill in his state that would provide free lunch for school kids. Okay, and we'll get to what that bill entails, but I want you to hear the words out of this man's mouth and his justification for why he, a Republican, a member of the party of family values and the pro-life party, the Jesus party, is opposing this bill, which again would provide free school lunches to kids. Let's hear what he has to say.
Mr. President, I have yet to meet a person in Minnesota that is hungry. Yet today. I have yet to meet a person in Minnesota that says they don't have access to enough food to eat. Now, I should say that hunger is a relative term, Mr. President. I had a cereal bar for breakfast. I guess I'm hungry now. That, to some, might be maybe that's the definition of the bill. I don't know. I didn't see a definition of hunger in the bill, Mr. President. But I think most reasonable people suggest hunger means you don't have enough to eat in order to provide for metabolism and growth. Mr. President.
Yeah. He's opposing the bill, which would provide free school lunches to kids, because he, as a state senator, has just never met a hungry person in Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't have hunger or food insecurity. Wow. So as far as what's in the bill's author, Democratic farmer labor senator Heather Gustafson, said it's estimated that almost 275,000 students in the state of Minnesota would get free and reduced price school meals. She said they do. Another 18% of students who would likely qualify haven't submitted the necessary paperwork. Roughly 1 in 6 children are food insecure. That means they don't know when and where their next meal will be available. if they get one at all, Gustafson said. She said passing the measure, which would cost $420 million over the next 2 years, is the right thing to do. Being hungry makes learning almost impossible, Gustafson said. Let's feed the kids. Drazkowski called the bill pure socialism, because of course he would. The government doing anything is socialism. Except tax cuts for the rich, that's not socialism. The military, that's not socialism. I don't know why, but the Republicans have gerrymandered this definition exquisitely, adding, this is about the government dictating to kids what they're going to eat and how much they're going to eat. Damn government telling kids that they're going to eat and not starve. It's ridiculous. There is no rational good faith basis for this position. He's not even appealing to the expense of the bill. $420 million is a lot of money, relatively speaking. It's for a good cause. You know, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of kids that would be made less food insecure or would be made food secure outright. That's a cause worth spending money for. That a government has a vested interest in supporting something like that. So this is just ridiculous. And it's further proof that the Republican Party is not a pro-life party. They don't care. They don't care about kids. Not as a whole. Again, obviously individual Republicans do. I have conservative family members and friends do, but I'm talking about the thought leadership of the GOP. The GOP as a nexus of politics is not a party that really concerns itself with the well-being of people in general. It's not a pro-life party. This is ridiculous. This bill should have passed unanimously, or if you were going to object, you should have done so very carefully, very thoughtfully, and not gone out of your way to come off like this detached lunatic who's just complaining that anything the government does is socialism. So anyway, further proof that the GOP sucks. Please, if you're of voting age in any state, Minnesota or Wisconsin or wherever, any of the 50 states, do not vote for this party. Do not reward this party for its radical politics. Do not reward this party for its bad morals, its bad philosophy. If you want to support kids, vote blue. Hey you! Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, and I hope that you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons below. And if you absolutely hated the video, the best revenge for you is also to hit the like and subscribe buttons below. That'll teach me. If you want to share an opinion or share some feedback, go ahead and leave a comment, all right? 2023 is a year of change, hence the aggressive rebrand and commitment to new content. Inspired by my friends Luke Beasley and STV Philly, my personal goal for this channel is to hit 40,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So I'm hoping you'll do me a solid by spreading the word and the videos to potential fans and hate watchers alike. And in the meantime, we'll be pondering politics again with you very soon.